listening to the Marketing and Yoga Pants podcast, a podcast in sisterhood for female entrepreneurs that serves up savvy, actionable marketing advice and interviews with creative business owners who are in the trenches, building their businesses as we speak. The Marketing and Yoga Pants community is for you, the girl on her couch, in her yoga pants, top knot tight, hunched over her MacBook, trying her hardest to get the word out about her business. So in the name of supporting each other while supporting ourselves, bringing community, sound marketing advice, coffee, chocolate, and wine together for you, yoga pants wearing business owner, in a world where followers mean nothing, but paying customers mean the world, join us on this week's podcast episode and in our private Facebook group where you'll meet your soul sisters and build your business in yoga pants. Welcome back to another episode of the Marketing and Yoga Pants podcast. I'm Brit and I'm here today with Jacq Fisch, writer, editor, and writing coach at jacquelinefish.com. Thank you so much for joining me today, Jacq.
Hey, Brit. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you guys might be thinking, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you might be thinking, wait a second, I think I know Jacq. You do. She was on episode 37. I went back, I looked up the number. It went live back in January. So I'm just going to tell you right now, a lot has happened in the last 6 months. I know in all of our businesses, definitely Jacq's business, and definitely in our relationship, Jacq and I's relationship and our friendship together, lots has just changed. So I wanted to bring her back on the podcast, get a look into what's been going on over the last 6 months, and give her some space to riff on how she approaches writing and editing and now coaching clients to write better themselves. I think she approaches it in such a unique, just cool way. I mean, I just love everything Jacq does. So I wanted to bring her back on and have a great conversation about it. So, Jacq, are you ready to jump in?
Yeah, when you said January, I didn't realize how long ago it was. Like, so much has changed since January.
Yes.
It's amazing, which is all good stuff.
Yes, I didn't mean for this to happen, but your episode went live on January 25th. And this one is going live on July 26th. So it's almost exactly 6 months. And that's just, again, we were talking about this before we hit record. There is just some very interesting divine timing happening really in all of our lives. Once we open our eyes to it, we see it. And Jacq and I are seeing it right now. So yet again, another example.
I call it magic.
Yeah. Another example of some great divine timing. So, Jacq, you're a writer, you're an editor, you're a writing coach, and a lot has happened over the last 6 months. I think the last time we spoke, we really focused in on your journey out of corporate and kind of the up and down of all of that, and then getting into your full-time business and being like, dang, this is awesome. Like, things are really working. Now, I would love for you to tell us, just catch us up. What's been going on since January over the last 6 months?
Yeah. So January, I was just creeping up on the 1 year mark of being in business. So March of this year was my 1 year entrepreneur anniversary, or whatever you want to call it. And it was an amazing year. It totally exceeded all my expectations with regards to absolutely everything. The clients I worked with were phenomenal. I maybe had one or two kind of icky client experiences, but I definitely didn't get that experience you sometimes see from people that are like, oh, my client's a nightmare and this is terrible. I didn't have that. And income-wise, I matched my corporate income, which was I was hoping to come kind of close to it, but I matched it. So I was like, wow, after doing this for a year, what can I do next? And then having worked with, I think I counted between 40 and 50 clients within a year and a half time span, since I had grown my business as a side hustle before I left my corporate job, with the learnings from 40 to 50 clients, from creative entrepreneurs to tech startups and people leaving their corporate job. I got a lot of really great insights. And that's where I started to realize, I should also say, I'm the kind of writer and editor that doesn't just send you a piece of copy to look at. You're like, let's write my website. I don't just give you your website pages and say, see you later. We do a lot of work before I even write or edit a single word. We dig into who your clients are, the words they say, the language you want to use. Like, how do you want to show up in the world as your online voice? And when it gets to writing and editing, instead of just putting like a piece of paper in front of a client saying, here you go, good luck, I started more and more. I mean, I'd always explained what I was doing and the reasons behind going a certain direction, but I got a lot clearer on how helpful that was for making them a stronger writer. So I would, and I totally do this all the time now, probably even more, record quick videos walking them through like every page, why we went with a certain decision. If they question things like, why are we saying this? I'm not sure. I can answer that all in a video. So I realized there's a larger coaching component to writing than just writing in a vacuum. And this way I notice the results they get and how quickly I can write for them is so much better.
Yeah. And I was even able to experience a little small part of that as we worked together on a sales page for my website back when I launched the deep dive session. And it was so collaborative from the very beginning. And I felt like it wasn't me just handing it over to you. It was back and forth. So you really could understand what I was trying to do. And through your questioning, I got clearer on what I was trying to do and what I was trying to say, that helps so much. And, that's Coach 101. It's asking good questions, because through the answering of those questions, you begin to find clarity around the problem, what you're really trying to do. And then throughout the whole thing, as you were writing, it was back and forth collaboration the entire time, to the point where I was learning things just from that experience. And so when I started to kind of get the feeling that you were going to work in more editing of work and coaching people to write better, I thought, yes, genius. Like, that's just an automatic iteration of this business. Makes so much sense. So I would like to know, I mean, you said, you came up on the 1 year mark and you reflected back on those clients and you started to realize that there was some value in that coaching. Take us through the thought process of thinking, I think there's some value in the editing and coaching aspect of this. Should I go that route? Should I not? Like, take us through that, because you already had a successful business at that point. So do you rock the boat or not?
Yeah, exactly. And it's a little bit scary. You're like, well, I'm doing all this ghostwriting work. Like, what do I do? One of the biggest aha moments was in the copy coaching I do for Shih's program, Make It Work Online. Part of that program, it's business coaching, mindset coaching, and copy coaching. So I was hired as one of the team members to help the Make It Work Online clients, help them find their writing voice. And we don't edit for them. We give them suggestions, ask questions, and push them. I mean, there's points when you're pushing people because they're so close to like describing what they do or something like that, or just getting like a sales page copyright. And it's a little bit off, like they're kind of getting it and you can see the progress. And with just the right questions or reframe or even a slight wording suggestion, they get it and it clicks. And then when you read it, you're like goosebumps. So having done that in that program for the past 2 years, working with maybe 30 clients or so, and seeing their writing go from, and their confidence level, the confidence is huge. So seeing the results that people get in that program, and they also tout the copywriting coaching as one of their favorite parts of the program, seeing the results and being a part of it is just nothing compares to it. And seeing someone's very first draft something to 12 weeks later, when you see them like writing blog posts and guest posts and they're writing sales copy that just feels good and they're selling stuff and you're seeing results. So that was huge in realizing that. And that was because I wasn't in a ghostwriting role. I was totally just editing and coaching, mostly coaching, teeny tiny bit of editing. It's like, yeah, this is it. And in doing the work, tuning into what felt good and right for me. I'd be doing it and it's just like, oh, this feels really good. And it felt easy. So, and sometimes when you think of things being easy, it can be like, oh, this is easy. I probably shouldn't be doing this. Like you hear so often people online talking about pushing themselves. And if it's not hard, you're doing it wrong. And it needs to be difficult. Like, no, it doesn't. It can and should be easy. That like that intersection of easy work that feels good and gets results. Like, holy crap. How do I do more of this?
Yes.
That was my question at the end of all that. I need to do more of this. So that's what I'm doing.
That's so cool. Seriously, preach on that. The fact that it doesn't have to be hard. In fact, it can be easy. And I know you and I both encourage to find what's easy, because when it's easy for you, it feels good for you. Guess what? It's going to feel good for the person receiving it too. They're going to be attracted to that. Not everything needs to be hard. When you look for the hard piece because you think that's what's valuable, it's always forced. It's always forced. It can be easy, totally. And let it be easy. So, on that note, we didn't talk about this beforehand, but I know that you had a pretty profound moment in the last couple of months when you were at the retreat that was part of the Shih program. And I believe you asked a question to Jenny and you got a really, really interesting answer. Can you take us through that story? Because I know that it hit me, and even just hearing you explain that story, it's had an effect on the way I approach things as well. So can you take us into that moment?
Yeah. So as part of the Make It Work Online program, participants were offered an opportunity to go to an in-person live retreat in Corvallis, Oregon. So fun. I think that it was a small group, perfect size, like 35 people, plus most of the coaches were there too, the business coaches and copy coaches. And the first 2 days of the retreat were for the clients. So these were people who are just getting their business started online. Some of them may or may not have had successful offline business, and they're taking their business online, but they just finished the 3 months of the program. Their website copy is coming together, everything's just coming together and getting results. So they had a lot of questions, and some people were stuck and needed coaching, and there was a lot of struggle and like mindset stuff, fears popping up, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And on the third day of the retreat, it was just reserved for the coaches and Shih. And so it was supposed to be it was a 1-day mastermind session for, working through a problem or question we had. And I was totally stuck on what to ask, because I was here. So this was in May. I'm a little over a year in my business. Things are going great, loving my work, loving my clients. But I'm like, but it doesn't feel hard. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Mm. So there were a couple aha moments. So I said, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to ask. I'm just going to put it out there and see what comes back. So part of it was, I see so many people like pushing, and it seems so difficult, but it's been easy for me. And I'm like, is that okay? Mm-hmm. And what Jenny said was, don't create struggle just because you see other people struggling. Yes. And I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. It just made sense. I'm like, okay, I can drop the struggle. And the other big aha moment that came out of there was I set out to create a copywriting business when I left my corporate job, and I did. But if you ask me what I'm going to be doing 5 years from now, even next year, I'm not exactly sure what that's going to look like. Mm-hmm. Because I like creating in mind, but then staying open to possibilities, like that possibility of becoming a copy coach in that program. It was something that I wasn't after. Like I didn't even know it was a thing until I heard about it. And another big aha I had at that session was that it's okay. You don't need to know what's like 5 years down the road. You can have an idea in mind and stay open and flexible and say yes to the things that feel right. So more and more I'm tuning into that intuition, getting it right over time. Yeah. Take some practice, but yeah, I'm definitely getting better at that.
Yeah, letting it easy because it is, and it doesn't have to be hard just because everyone else says it's gonna be hard or it is hard for them. That doesn't need to be your truth, just because it's theirs. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, so good. So because we're used to talking to each other all the time, we might not have made this super clear, but you and I joined a mastermind together, not meaning to be together. It was curated by the people, specifically Sarah Christensen over at Kick-Ass Masterminds this year. And we happen to be in each other's mastermind group. And I know it's been, oh my goodness, like the best investment I've ever put into my business. That's for sure. But like, and that's how you and I have been able to create such a unique, just easy bond, I feel like. And like when I was about to get on this interview, I'm like, yes, I just get to talk to my friend today. Like, it was just so happy that that exists. So take me into what your experience has been like with the mastermind, and then any other real pivotal thing that you've had in your life and in your business in the last 6 months that has allowed you to keep moving forward.
Yeah, the mastermind was huge. And I too was also, I didn't know you were going to be in my group because it is curated. You submit an application, and when I found out we were together, I was like, yes. I think I emailed you right away. Or maybe I even sent you like a video clip. I was so crazy excited. I'm like, we're in that group together. It was awesome. So yeah, it's also been the biggest investment I've made in my business. And that, and also working with a business coach, were things that I knew. So here I was, a year in business. I've been successful. I don't want to equate it to the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over. You get and expecting different results. But I knew that what got me to where I was after a year in business wasn't going to be what got me to the next place. So part of that has definitely been joining the mastermind. I'm involved in some other small mastermind groups and working with a business coach and working with you as a marketing coach. I think it's so easy. And I've always been one of those do-it-yourselfers. Like, heads down, I don't need any help. I'm not picking my head up and asking anyone for anything. Just because, I don't know, you grow up believing self-sufficiency is something to be admired. And it is to an extent. But you can only go so far trying to do it alone. So the experience in the mastermind has definitely been amazing. And one of the hugest benefits I didn't realize was I had been in so many different Facebook groups, and that's how I met you. So I definitely met some awesome people in there. But to some extent, they're people who don't know you or your business. So when you do have a business question or problem, you can put it out to a group of like a couple hundred people, but are they going to really understand you? And are they going to respond knowing who you are and what you need without having that more intimate knowledge of each other? The mastermind is so important because it's such a safe space to just like let stuff out. And not in like an icky way. It's not like that at all. If it's just like, hey guys, this is what I'm thinking. Does this even make any sense? And then because they know your business, they'll gut check you and they'll say, I don't know if that's really right for you because you said this last week. And you're like, oh yeah. So yeah, it's been eye-opening.
Yeah. And some of my favorite moments, well, they're the most uncomfortable moments, but then when I look back, I'm so glad that they happen, is when I go to the group and I'm like, I'm doing this. And somebody is like, are you? Like, are you really? Like, let's think about this for a hot second, Brittany. Because they do tend to be like the shoot and then aim kind of person. So I hate those moments. And then I have learned to love those moments too. Yeah, the mastermind has been pivotal.
There's definitely some moments in the uncomfortable times, but they're important.
They are, yeah. Has there been anything else now that you're into your second year of business that has been something that maybe you didn't do in your first year, but has proven to be a good decision, good investment of time or energy or money this time around?
Probably a couple things. I'd always been pretty good at creating boundaries because I needed them to be able to quit my corporate job and have the time to do it. I got better at it and I started to learn when my best times to create were. So knowing that my best time to work is early mornings, and on certain days of the week, I only take new client calls certain days of the week in certain blocks of time. And setting expectations up front that I don't return emails over the weekend. I mean, let's face it, we're all probably checking email from time to time over the weekend. But checking and responding are totally different. So knowing that that my clients don't get a response, because we all need that unplugged time. So definitely creating the boundaries, finding more time to unplug and not stare at my computer have been key, because more and more I'm like, wow, I've been staring at this thing all day. So I've learned some new ways to work, and even just little things, like instead of writing, I'll do voice to text and like go on a walk and just talk some things out, which is something I totally wasn't used to doing. Some other tangible things like hiring a bookkeeper, one of the best decisions I ever made, because numbers and me, I just used to dread it. But now I have someone going in there every couple months, just making sure everything is great. So come tax time, I know I'm not messing anything up and it's all good. And like knowing the dollars are good and they're accurate, also hugely important.
Yeah, just outsource that stress on someone that doesn't see it as stressful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the tech stuff too. I've outsourced the stuff that I don't love, but still in a really lean and deliberate way. Like I don't just outsource for the sake of outsourcing or saying I did. It's something that's like, this is going to free up my time so I can do more of the stuff that I want to do.
Right. Awesome. That's great to know. So now let's talk about how you approach writing and just basically how you approach words, because you do a lot of them. You work with a lot of them. And so I wonder if there were some key concepts that any one of us as business owners really just need to understand and swallow down right now when it comes to writing anything for our business. What do we need to know?
First, you need to know who you are and what kind of voice you want to use in all your words. So, I mean, your marketing personalities is an awesome place to start. I totally downloaded that and resonated with that as a INFJ. I think I'm like all thinking J and T. I'm like, what are those letters again? You know, when you take the test every couple of years, it changes a little bit as your situations change. The very first thing I have my clients do is I want to hear about their voice.
Yeah.
Why you're doing this business. What excites you? What feels great? How do you feel every day when you sit down to do this work? How do you feel when, like, if they're a service-based business, how do you feel when your clients have a breakthrough? And getting into that. And then from there, who are your clients? I think one of the most common questions I ask my coaching clients and when I'm editing is, would your client say this?
Yeah.
What are the words they use? And so often it's like, no. Very often people write for their peers because that's who you associate with. Like, you know, you and I are in the online business space, so I would write something differently to you than I would for a target client or something like that. And in knowing your clients' words, something I always recommend is having a list of all the things clients say to you. And not just clients, but potential clients, people you wish you could work with. So it doesn't mean that you have to have tons of conversations with people. It's just, you know, following online, follow blog posts where you see your people commenting in Facebook groups and pick up on the questions they're asking and the words they're using and writing those down, and then take those and put them in all your copy.
Yes.
And usually the client words are a lot simpler than the words you might use. And another question along those lines is, so if it's not your client's words, it's probably jargon. And because I talk so often about writing without jargon, being jargon free, sometimes my clients are nervous to put something in front of me, like, is this jargon? I'm worried. And I'm like, well, would your client say it? They said, yes. Well, then it's not jargon. It's okay.
Right. That's the litmus test.
Yeah. Or it is jargon, but it's jargon your clients understand. So it's okay. So jargon is not necessarily a bad word. It's only bad if it doesn't land with your clients. And you'll know because you might not be hitting the point with like your sales copy and your blog posts. You might be getting crickets.
Awesome. I love that jargon free. And also, is your email signature still be unfussy?
That's a good question.
I think
look at my emails so often.
Yeah. Well, I think it does come up. It does come up sometimes when I email you or every time. I don't know, but I love that. I love that your approach is jargon free. And then, you know, creating a container around, okay, what is jargon? It's something that your clients wouldn't actually say. And then the whole,
yeah, exactly.
I love approaching, I mean, I do this as well. I don't know if it's our, you're a hard INFJ and I'm like a soft INFJ, but maybe it's that. But I just love approaching words in an unfussy manner. And I love that you do that too. It's like, it's not like it needs to be nitpicked and nitpicked and nitpicked to the point where it never sees the light of day. Let's be unfussy. Let's know our concepts. Let's know what we're going towards, and then just let's get it out. Let's get it out there. I like that approach a lot, personally.
Yes, you are definitely right in hearing the unfussy everywhere. It's my favorite hashtag. It was the title of my first book, The Unfussy Mom. And it's going to be in the title of my next book, Unfussy Life, or something along those lines. It's about slowing down so you can do life better and not at a breakneck pace. But yeah, it's all with that through line of being, living, writing, working, unfussy. So yes, I can tweak a blog post 1,000 times, but it's not doing any good sitting in a Google Doc on your computer. Just get it out there. And your writing over time is going to evolve like as you grow. So, I mean, are you the same person you were 5 years ago? Your writing is going to be different too. You're different. It's okay to evolve and to change your opinions. So people often get stuck, and sometimes it's just a confidence thing, or they just want permission. Like, yes, this is good enough. Get it out there. There are always going to be ways to improve on any piece of writing, but it's not going to matter if no one gets to read it. Just get it out there.
Right. Oh man, I love that. And I love that word, permission. That's a big theme for me this year. So I definitely like that. All right. So this was so good. I'm so glad we got a chance to sit down and just kind of dig into more of this stuff. So I'd love to end here. I want you to tell the listeners where they can go find you online and all the good stuff you're putting out, specifically about your editing and writing coaching stuff. Because I know, we talked a lot about the writing last time. This time we've got this new evolution. Where are we going to get more of this from Jacq?
Yeah, JacquelineFisch.com is the best place. And I have a couple things on there. If you go to the free stuff section, free downloads, and I mean, they're totally, completely free. I don't collect email addresses in exchange for any PDF, freebie, or anything. And a lot of people get mad at me for that. But it's totally free. Just go get it. And if you love it, then you can sign up to get emails from me. And yeah, I aim to write emails that either entertain, inspire, or kick you in the butt to get something done.
I love that. I love it. I really like that example too, because that's obviously what feels good for you. And I mean, hello, I'm telling everybody to do some feel-good marketing. And if putting an email subscription wall up between potential client and that free download doesn't feel good for you, then don't do it. I mean, I'm sure the marketing people that are listening to this right now are like, what did she just say? And I'm standing firm in that. Like, if it doesn't feel right for you, don't let yourself feel fake and salesy. It's your choice. You can either feel fake and salesy or you can feel good. So if that thing is not going to make you feel good, you just had a great example right there. Jacq's like, yeah, I'm not going to feel good. I'm going to do this in a different way. I love that like little innovator in you. And just doing it your own way is your jam. I like that. So good.
Yeah, another thing you can find on there, if you're wanting to get started with just writing and getting stuff done, are online copywriting marathons. So it's like 3 to 4 hours. I'll give you some instructions in advance, and a handful of us will sit online, and you can just like plow through a bunch of work, and you can get instant feedback from it to keep you going. Those have been pretty powerful too. And it's a really good way to get stuff done. And like a marathon, you need to fuel before it and prepare mentally, but it can give you a lot of batch work done in advance to keep you moving.
So I have questions about this. I knew that you had done a couple of these for Jenny Shih's program, and I think for yourself. Are these now something that you're doing regularly, and are they free?
They're going to be monthly.
Okay.
They're not going to be free.
Okay, I was going to say, that would be crazy. Because these things sound so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's a lot of work, but it's also that work that's, I'm not sure if any listeners are runners. I used to run half marathons, and as much as it sucks at like mile, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all of them, like getting to the end and having finished pieces, it's like having that cheering section along the way that gets you to the finish line. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, those are going to happen monthly. The schedule will be coming out soon.
That's awesome, especially for the person who struggles to sit down and actually write. I mean, this gives you accountability to actually be there, because if you sign up, you definitely need that accountability. And then to know that you're not the only one sitting down to write. There's just like this community around you. It's like, okay, if these 4, 5, 6, I don't know how many people you have on a marathon like that, but if these people are here, doing this, I think I could try at least. And then once you get started, it becomes easier, and knowing that you've got the writing coach right there. So if you get stuck or, whatever, you just need that support. It's there. I love that idea. Super cool. I need to get myself onto one of those.
Yeah, it's limited to 10 people. So when you see them, sign up quickly. But some people come and don't even plan on writing. They just sit back and listen and watch all the feedback happening. So
interesting.
They get coaching through learning through others. So that's a big part of it too.
Oh, that's so cool. I can't wait to definitely, I mean, I know I'll know, but you guys, you definitely have to go over to JacquelineFisch.com, and obviously it's all linked in the show notes and all that, and she'll be in the Facebook group. She's always in the Facebook group. But get over there and get information on that. If you struggle to sit down and get your stuff written, this could be a really great resource for you. All right, so JacquelineFisch.com. Hey, Jacq, thank you so much for being on the podcast again, and thanks for being a great friend and a great mastermind group member, and just somebody that I can feel like I can just lean on and get support from. It means a lot.
Thank you. Yes, I feel the same about you too.
Awesome. All right, you guys, you heard her. Go check her out, send her some love, and then hop into our private Facebook group to hear even more from Jacq over the next few days. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast. Keep the conversation going by visiting marketinginyogapants.com/Facebook, where you'll get to join that private Facebook group I've been talking so much about. There, you'll get to chat with our podcast guests. Yeah, they're in there too, and all of the other brilliant creative business owners. We're connecting, we're meeting our soul sisters, and we're building our businesses, all while in yoga pants. So come hang out with us. Again, visit marketinginyogapants.com/Facebook to get in. And one more thing. If you dig this podcast, would you be awesome and share it with someone? This entire Marketing in Yoga Pants movement is nothing without its community. So please share. And if you're really feeling the love right now, jump into iTunes. You're probably already there if you're listening to this right now. And leave us a rating and review. The more of those we rack up, the more the podcast will be found by ladies like you, and the stronger this community becomes. This episode was edited and produced by the Podcast Engineers. They're pretty great, so go find them at podcastengineers.com. This episode was also brought to you by my online marketing agency, Jam Marketing Group, and you can find us at jammarketinggroup.co. That's all for now. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you back here next week on the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast. Love ya. Bye.